My name is Evan Renarts. I live in Vancouver, British Columbia, on the west coast of Canada. And this coming August, I'll turn 71. My first experience with any kind of plant medicine was 1 year ago at Arkana in the jungle. And you know, people say, why? Well, why do you want to start experimenting with psychedelics and plant medicine at this point in your life? And you know, that's not an easy answer because it's the story of your life. And when I was a young man, I used alcohol heavily to deal with emotions that were too uncomfortable. And I got quite lost in alcohol and until I was almost 35 and I quit. So, you know, that's a long time now that I've been sober. And part of, you know, when you have an addiction, one of the messages of recovery is you can never touch anything like this again. So I stayed away from any kind of mind or mood altering substance. Even aspirin I treated with caution, and I did not want to fall back into the hole I crawled out of. And so what I did was meditate, and I started following different spiritual teachers and different meditation practices. Quite early on I settled on a kind of a boot camp style of Vipassana that was very rigorous, meditating 12, 13 hours a day, and when you're on retreat. And I did, I don't know, in the 20s of 10-day silent meditation retreats and one 30-day silent meditation retreat. And also a lot of service at the meditation centers. And it was really, really helpful for me. And the first thing it gave me was a sense of space between the urge to react and the reaction. And so I worked with these practices, and the practices have evolved to a more, I don't know, relaxed and embodied and human style of meditating over the years. But somehow in the last year or two, I felt like I was stalled or on a plateau. And, you know, what can I do to break through whatever's stopping me from going further? Because it's not the fault of the meditation. There's something in me that was holding back, and maybe my 100% commitment was maybe like 60% commitment. And so how to get that other 40%? And then out of the blue, in the fall of 2018, people started talking to me about ayahuasca. Have you heard of ayahuasca? And it wasn't like I was asking them questions or saying I feel stuck. It was just out of nowhere. In a coffee shop, somebody sits down next to me and we're talking. They say, "Oh, well, yeah, have you heard of ayahuasca?" No, I haven't heard of ayahuasca. What's that? Well, you should look it up. It's really cool. It's a plant medicine. So that happened 3 times in 10 days, and I thought, okay, someone's trying to tell me something. And I went home and started researching on the computer, and I liked what I read about ayahuasca and the effect it could have, that it was great for working with PTSD, that it was great for working with addictions, and also just dealing with the trauma of life, which every life has. And yeah, so then I started, well, how do I find a center? Where do I go? And somehow or other, just clunking around on Google, which I'm not very competent at, I found, I think it was an ayahuasca retreat guide. And so I looked at all the 5-star retreats, and there were 4 of them, I think, at that time, and Arkana was the first. And so then I researched each of the 5-star retreat centers, and I thought, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it right. I want to do it in a sacred space. I want to do it with people who know what they're doing and aren't just fooling around, because I believe there's quite a bit of that, not the best approach to medicine out in the world right now. And so I settled on Arkana. I booked a 3-week retreat because I thought, if I'm going to go that far, I'm going to give it all I've got. And and my wife was concerned because this is something new, and I'm using a substance, and she's concerned maybe I'll fall back into some sort of addiction. Although she never knew me when I was drinking, but I was able to reassure her and say, I'm not doing this to get stoned or to get high. I'm doing this to get well, and to bring more of myself into the marriage, into life, into all my relationships. And so she really got behind me, and I came down to Arkana in the jungle, which is the southern part of Peru, and went to this retreat center and had an experience that was akin to the first time I ever did a 10-day meditation retreat, in that it opened up. It's hard to talk sometimes about what matters most without the emotions. And it opened up a new part of myself, and I can't exactly explain how it works. You drink the ayahuasca, but you don't just drink ayahuasca. You're in a sacred space, in a ceremony held by people who know what they're doing, who have a lineage of working with this medicine, and surrounded by facilitators and volunteers who love you and care about you when they don't even know who you are yet. And my initial experience with ayahuasca was beautiful. Whatever it showed me, death, torture, love in all its forms. Everything was love, everything was kindness, everything was beauty. That's what I was shown. And that there was no need to fear any part of life, any aspect of life, regardless of its appearance. And I came home from that journey, and my wife was amazed and continues to be amazed and continues to be super supportive because of the transformation she's seen. And those transformations are, really ordinary and extraordinary. And the ordinary ones are like the things that would normally upset me, waiting in a line, or driving is one of my my Achilles tendons. But it's anyway, I react completely differently, and even when I get triggered now, I come out of it very quickly, and I see that it's me. It's not whatever I thought it was that pushed the button. It's me. It's my reaction, and so I can turn it around and heal it very, very quickly. And anyone who's in a relationship would know what a difference that makes when you can take 100% responsibility for your part in everything, and actually not even worry about what the other person's part is, because that's their work. And so a year has gone by, and I've come back. This time I came for 2 weeks in the jungle and 2 weeks in the Sacred Valley. I'm probably in my middle of my first week in the jungle. I thought, is this pure hubris on my part, thinking I can handle this? It's been a different experience. I've had to face some deeper healing, and it hasn't always been comfortable. And I'm so grateful to be doing it. I mean, my God. I was talking to some friends just a little while ago about, in our culture in the West, when you reach a certain age, you're expected to retire. And retirement essentially means, in our culture, it seems to mean disappearing. And you just keep disappearing until they put you in a warehouse, and then you stay there till you die. And I just think that's such a waste of the wisdom and the experience. It's like we've put in a lifetime of learning, and it's, there's a lot of really valuable learning there. And I see this because one of the things I do is I coach and I mentor people, and you think, well, I don't know anything special, and then you realize that people who are 40 or even 50 haven't learned yet the things that you've learned at 70. And so we have so much to give. And working with these kind of plant medicines and in these centers that where the work is done with integrity is so important. And it opens up, I've been saying to the facilitators and the people at this center that I hope I have another 25 years of good, solid work in front of me, and to keep growing. There's no reason to stop. I don't believe that my growth is limited by this body's lifetime, and nor is anything else. So, yeah, I recommend this wholeheartedly.